So, today's coding interview is given a list of numbers and a number k, return whether any two numbers from the list add up to k. For example, given 10, 15, 3 and 7 and k of 17, return true since 10 plus 7 is 17. So, what we want to do here is we have our array with 4 values in it, okay, and we have a fifth value, in our case, let's say 17. And what we want to do is check if 10 plus 15 equals 17. So, of course, it's not. 10 plus 3, it's not. And 10 plus 7, yes, it is. So, in that case, our program must return true. So, what we did here is we begin with 10, like in our memory. We take 10 somewhere, and we want to iterate then to the other values that are not 10. So we get like a set of pairs, and we check for each pair if it is equal to our fifth value. Okay, so let's run this one more time, but with a different value here. And let's set 10, I think. So we have 10, we want 10. So let's do this one more time. 10 plus 15 isn't equal to 10. Could be neither and neither. Okay. So, okay, none of those pairs equal 10. We want to continue. So now that we continue, we begin with 15. And so we have to check every pair starting with 15 in it, if those pairs add up to 10. So we don't actually have to check 15 plus 10 because we've already checked it before, you can see like this. It goes backwards. So if it goes backwards here, it means we've already checked. So we don't have to check this. Okay. And 15 plus 3 isn't 10. And 15 plus 7 isn't 10 neither. So what you could say here is that, of course, none of the pairs with 15 will equal 10 because 15 is superior to 10, but I think this can be misleading because it's never said that I can't have negative values in my array, so we have to check every one of them. You can't say it's impossible just based on one example. Okay, so anyway, we still haven't found our pair that equals 10, if there is one. Of course, there is no example. And so now that we've checked all possible pairs with 15, we continue and we start to 3. In the same way that before, we don't have to check backwards because it's already been checked. This one in our first iteration, this one, and this one in our second iteration. So these two we can forget. And we just have to check if 3 plus 7 equals 10. And of course, yes, it is. So now we can turn true. Okay, cool. So now that's pretty clear. We can almost continue to the coding part. But before that, I would just like to come back on one thing. So what we're doing here is that we go through our array the first time, let's say thanks to a variable I, and this one starts to 0, of course, and it goes to, in our case, 3. And we have another variable that let's call it j, and this one starts at I plus 1, and it goes to 3, 2. So how you can see that is that you want to begin with 10, like I said, and then you want the second member of your pair to be 15. So this one is like I plus 1, and so on. And this one will iterate then until we have 3. Okay, so now that's clear, we can go to the coding. Now we are going to actually code the function. I will be coding it in C++ right now, but in the description you can find it in C or in Python for now, if you want it coded in any other language, please let me know in the comments. I will be doing it. So our function will be returning a boolean value, so either true or false. Let's call it add up. We have our array, okay, and our value k. Our first loop with I, which begins at 0 and goes until it reaches the size of the array, 8%. And then we have for j, we said it had to begin at I plus 1 and until it reaches the end of the array and once more. And so we want to check if array I plus array j is equal to k, and if it is, we want to return true. And so the function will end here. If the function can go through the or loops, then it means that it never entered that statement. So it means that none of our values add up to k. So then we want to return false. And that's it. That's our function. Pretty simple in the end. So I hope it will help you in your future coding interviews.